layer that I think is really important to look at is that when we're kind of wrapping together, building the new enterprise or bringing together the the operational components, you need to think about how you're actually going to meet the full range of moments of learning need. So I'm going to tell you, I love the moments of learning need concept. I think Conrad and Bob Mosher did a fantastic job with this. I think it's actually very performer-centric. I love the system. It starts off with, what do I need to know? When do I need to know? And it really comes back to these core moments of learning need. And I really like what they're doing around that. I think it's a great way as we start to think of a learning system, how we start to meet a full range of needs. We're not just focused on learning something for the first time, which is a lot of what we do historically in organizations, pushing out for the first time, or maybe learning a little bit more about it, but we're really bringing in that performance enablement side of moments 3, 4, and 5. And I think they're really important, but that I think is in the organization, being able to create learning journeys and learning experiences that actually encompass all 5 moments of need is absolutely crucial. Of course, because I've looked at it and a lot of conversations with clients and partners and folks, and I've kind of identified 2 additional what I call emerging moments of need, kind of adding to this. And this is, while the first 5 really look at, the need for something has changed or something went wrong, those are definitely environmental triggers that precipitated, I now need to learn something. I wanted to call out the need to think about when you need to innovate or grow to a new role. So these are things that are intrinsically driven that happen before I have an environmental trigger that happens with that. And arguably, I think it's important that we think slightly differently about these, because when we bring in tools and technologies like recommender engines for learning platforms, when we're bringing in personalized learning paths, those are very convergent tools. If you like this, I'm going to give you more of it. If based on your skill set, I'm going to progress and get you to a performance mastery level by giving you what you need in a pathway. But if I need to innovate, I need more divergent pathways around that. So not only do we want to drive to critical importance of performance, but I want to come back and look at how do we innovate, how do we drive that growth for the new role, that internal thing is, how do I get to somewhere else I need to be? And we need to be able to create a system that enables those type of learners to find things that are less divergent. They're connected, but not 100% relevant to exactly what I have. How do I get things that are new and different, that inspire me, that push me in a different direction, allow me to think differently about things, challenge my biases? That's where you got to build in the innovation and the growth for the next role. Those are all critical in those spaces. Now, those 5 moments of need, what you're looking at is, to meet those ranges of those needs, is that we need to think about the different roles that the learners take on. And this really gets back to the importance of social learning and how we kind of need to shape and help develop them into taking that key ownership in the process. So no longer is it okay just to be a consumer of learning or training in the organization. You need to step into the space and become a moderator, a curator, a contributor, and a collaborator, a creator, somebody who's sharing. They're actively in the ecosystem. They are actively contributing to it. When you think about, moments 3, 4, and 5, and then really pulling in innovator growth for new role, those are things where people that are actually in the ecosystem, that are doing the job, doing the work, contributing it, help other people, other folks innovate, they're the ones that are really coming in by playing the role of moderator, curator. They're helping us meet those needs. It is really hard for the organization itself to meet all 5 moments of need without the learners taking a fundamental role in the experience. And that's absolutely critical for us to be in that space. But it's not just enough to think about the expanded learning roles, how they start to bring in the layer of social learning. The next layer is really thinking about, from an organizational standpoint, what is the human infrastructure we need to have in place? So you think back of my mortgage example, we had a picture of, I call him Chad. It's not his real name, but Chad was my mortgage coach. He was able to help me through the process. In a sense, he stepped into the ecosystem and played a different role than he had before. And this is when you think about a learning organization, thinking differently about the human connective tissue that really makes workforce transformation really hum. And these are roles that often do not show up on an org chart. They're people that are often influencers and have innate capabilities, but they don't necessarily show up in a hierarchical structure in it. And so I do want to give really good recognition. This is kind of inspired by the work done from Rob Cross, who does he's got a fantastic body of work on the conversation around collaboration in the workplace, and really coming through with thinking about organizational networks and how we connect with each other. And Rob's got a really great model and a framework to think about that as it goes forward, and I love that. But what inspired me is that on the learning side, as we look at our personal networks, the people that help me learn, help me develop, help me get better inside an organization, they've got these. So these are folks that I call, like, within a function or a unit, there are people that I call kind of learning connectors. The people you go to when I don't know what I need, know how to do something, who do I call? Who do I help? Who can they connect me to a resource or give me access to somebody? We typically know who that person in the organization is, but they're part of that informal network or structure. So your learning connectors are kind of within that structure or that unit. Your learning bridgers are the ones that are going across the function, across the organization, across disciplines, bringing in new insights, new thoughts, new ideas into the group, making the connections across the different parts of an organization so that across a unit you can get new ideas coming in, you can share ideas out, come up with new things, learn, and that really helps support around the innovation and the growth, for example. When you think about specialists for coaching and mentoring, this is like identifying who's really good at something. Who, if you want to learn how to do that, spend a day with that person or get some direct feedback. If I only had an hour with that person that knew this, identifying who those folks are, those coaching and mentoring, these are the people that are really skilled at it and can convey it to someone else. And what we often find is that the folks that are making those connections know who those people are and can help bring that across. And then the last one is really thinking about the information brokers. These are the ones that are bringing the data, the information, the access to the assets in the organization, bringing some of those things together in that overall learning space. And there's a lot that's kind of around this in this concept, but starting to look at the learning organization as it integrates in the business and how the work gets done. Being able to know where your folks are, who play these roles in the organization, is absolutely critical. As a business may expand or contract, if you firmly believe that your ability to transform a workforce, whether you're growing, changing, or contracting, that you're transforming to achieve an outcome, you need to be able to do that. These folks are the ones that really drive that engine, and knowing who they are so you don't inadvertently cut a very strong enablement part of the organization, or as you go to grow, you're not really growing and expanding in these capacities, or you're not reinforcing these roles or identifying who they are. So it's an interesting aspect of starting to get and wrap around in your system who those folks are. The technology layer comes in and allows you to connect to who those folks are, identify tools that are able to come in and rise those folks up, make them more visible in the organization. But it's the actual individual performance and the individuals in the organization that are really critical around that.